Okay, friends, for writing today, I want you to find this book, these pages. This was in your packet that you got from Mrs. Hoffman. I gave you, I think, 4 books. So if you can find this one with a boy and he's got a magnifying glass and he's looking for maybe some bugs or some tiny things that he wants to see through his magnifying glass. So you're going to need this book right here. You're going to need your pencil or a marker and some crayons. So you're going to draw some pictures to go with your sentences. So when we talk about writing, last week we were writing sentences, and so when we put sentences together, we can make a story. So that's what we're going to do today. So Mrs. Hoffman's going to, last week we were talking about our caterpillars, and we were talking about how they begin. They begin as an egg that's laid by a butterfly on a leaf. So I thought it would be fun to write a short story about our caterpillars that turn into butterflies. So right on your pages there are some lines. We're going to use the lines starting on the top and then the middle and the bottom, because we're going to write maybe more than one and probably 2 sentences on each page. So we're going to write a little smaller today. So I'll show you as we start. So you have a choice. You can make your own story. You can write about whatever you would like to write about. You could write about maybe some bugs that you're interested in. You could write the story that Mrs. Hoffman writes, and you can do it with me, or you can do your own story. But I want you to do a story. So when we do a story, we like to talk about, if we're talking about an informational story where we're just telling and giving information, then we don't need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. But if we're telling a story about something that you did with a friend or something you did with your family, or you're telling an event, then you would talk about what happened first, what happened next, and then what happened last. And you can make up a pretend story if you would like to. That's kind of fun. I know lots of our kindergarten friends like to make pretend stories. So we're going to write an informational story today, or book. And we're going to talk about how our butterfly lays an egg, and the egg hatches, and out comes a caterpillar. The caterpillar makes a chrysalis, and then out comes a butterfly. So that's going to be what happens first, what happens next, and what happens last. So I think we need a title for our story. And I think a title, you can use any kind of title you would like for your story, but the title needs to tell what your story is going to be about. So I think it would be fun if we used our title. We're going to write our title right here, and then since you are the author of the story today, you're going to write your name where it says by. So I'm going to write my name. I want you to write your name on that line. And boys and girls, anytime you need to stop the video, you can. So my name is right here where the author is. And you are also the illustrator. So you're the author and the illustrator today in our story. So I think a good title for our story would be The Life Cycle of a Butterfly. So you might need to write a little bit smaller like Mrs. Hoffman did. We wrote our title, The Life Cycle of a Butterfly. You do not need to put a period at the end of a title. A title is a little bit different than a sentence, so it doesn't need a period at the end. So if you need to stop the video to write the title, if you're doing the same story as I am, or if you need to stop and write your own title, go ahead and do that. So we're going to think about, for our first page, we're going to think about what happens first? A butterfly lays an egg. That's what happens first. So there's our first sentence. A butterfly lays an egg. So we're going to write on the top like this. So you're going to start with your letter A, uppercase A, and then we're going to write a finger space and then write the word butterfly. A butterfly. Do you see I'm writing on the, making my words sit on the bottom, on the line? They're sitting right on the line. So this is a little bit different if we were using all the lines. A butterfly lays. Think of what you hear in the word lays. U-A-S. Lays. A butterfly lays an egg. And we're going to put a period at the end. A butterfly lays an egg. So, you could draw a picture of a leaf and put some little tiny eggs on the leaf. A butterfly lays an egg. Then what happens? Out of the egg comes a caterpillar. So we're going to write a caterpillar hatches out of the egg. So I'm going to try and write that sentence. Let's see. We'll write that sentence on our next page. After the butterfly lays an egg, a caterpillar hatches. A caterpillar, that's a long word. A caterpillar, let's say a caterpillar comes out of the egg. A caterpillar comes, I'm going to try and put that right there. A caterpillar comes out of the egg. A caterpillar comes out of the egg. If you need to stop the video, you can. So I'm going to make a picture of my egg, and I'm going to make it a little bigger. And I'm going to draw my caterpillar that has come out of the egg. So I drew my caterpillar that comes out of the egg. If you need to stop the video, go ahead and stop the video. Then, the last part of our story, the caterpillar makes a chrysalis, and out of the chrysalis comes a butterfly. So, we have a lot of information that we need to write on these lines. So we're going to have to write a little bit smaller. Tomorrow when we do a story, I'm going to have you use some bigger paper, but I thought it would be fun just to use some of these books that we have. So our last page is going to talk about the caterpillar makes a chrysalis. So we're going to write the caterpillar makes a chrysalis, and put a period. That's our first sentence. The caterpillar makes a chrysalis, and after he has made the chrysalis, what comes out of the chrysalis? The butterfly. So the caterpillar makes a chrysalis, then out comes a butterfly. So you have two sentences on this page. The caterpillar makes a chrysalis, then out comes a butterfly. So you could do a picture of maybe a tree branch where a caterpillar has made the chrysalis. So there's the chrysalis hanging from a branch. And then you could make some dots kind of showing that the butterfly has come out of the chrysalis. So that was just a quick story, but I wanted you to see that the reason we use sentences, when we put our sentences together, we can make stories, we can write messages, we can write letters, we can make books. And so when we combine letters together to make words, we have our words. When we combine our words together, we then have sentences. And when we combine our sentences together, we then have a story or a message or an email or a letter. And that's how writing is used in our world. And it's so important. And you're learning very young in kindergarten about writing sentences, about writing words, and you can start to write stories. So our story has a title, The Life Cycle of a Butterfly. We are the author and the illustrator. Our first page says, a butterfly lays an egg. Our next page says, a caterpillar comes out of the egg. And our last page says, the caterpillar makes a chrysalis, then out comes a butterfly. So remember, when you are writing an information story, you want to give some information. We're talking about caterpillars and butterflies and the life cycle of a butterfly. So if you're writing a story, remember you want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So tomorrow we're going to write using bigger paper, and we'll talk about writing a little bit of a longer story. So I hope you had fun writing today.